In the infirmary, Thamdar is lying on the bed.
Suddenly, he wakes up, sits up dazed, looking around. His face clearly shows fatigue. He speaks in a low voice. At the end of the bed, an old door appears. It emits a smoke of red and black colors blending together, looking extremely bizarre. Seeing it floating in the air, he rubs his eyes, wondering if he's hallucinating a door floating in the air. As if to confirm, he approaches the door, but it remains still. Thamdar becomes larger as he slowly moves to the back of the door and sees nothing unusual. He speaks in a low voice. This door is indeed hanging here, and there's nothing magical behind it.
Curiosity arises.
He grabs the door handle, turns it, and a creaking sound echoes clearly in the room. Just as the door opens, a powerful force pulls him in, causing him to panic and scream, "Ah!" Thamdar tumbles onto the ground. Half of his body remains on the bed, and the other half is inside the door. He looks at the dark, old corridor ahead. On both sides of the walls, dark red streaks are smudged. He's surprised. Wait, so there's another space behind the door.
Thamdar slowly stands up, raising his voice. It's too dark here.
Where is this place? Is anyone here? In response, the sound of gnashing teeth comes from the corridor. In the dark space, the sound of grinding teeth blends together like a horror soundtrack. He trembles as a giant skeleton begins to appear before him. Its head has 3 eyes emitting blue light, its mouth full of sharp teeth, and blood trickles down its face onto the ground. A shrill, loud laughter comes from its mouth. His complexion turns pale as he panics and screams, "Ah!" The monster is rushing towards me. It opens its blood-stained mouth and roars.
Thamdar tries to run on all fours, continuously crying, "Ah, ah, ah."
He runs towards the door, rushes to the bed, and quickly locks the door. On the other side, the door makes a loud sound. He shouts loudly, "Sorry for bothering you, may you live happily. Goodbye." He falls back onto the bed, his voice still trembling. This strange world is too dangerous. That monster rushed here too quickly. Suddenly, the huge door vanishes in a flash, leaving only black smoke. Thamdar becomes vague and asks, "Hey, where did the door go?" It really disappeared. While he's still panicking, a dark voice suddenly echoes in his head. "Congratulations, humanity. You have awakened the power to connect worlds. Finally, I have found you." He hurriedly looks around, cautious, and asks, Who is speaking?" The voice lowers its tone. "Don't be tense. I'm trapped in another world and am now speaking to you through telepathy. Listen, the time for exchange between the 2 worlds is limited. If you don't want to die, do as I tell you."
He asks again, exchange through telepathy.
"What is this?"
The voice slowly guides him.
"First, open your backpack and find a strange statue." He reaches into his backpack, searching, and murmurs, "The statue." Sure enough, he finds a statue. Looking at the grotesque shape of the statue, he asks, "Is this the statue?" The voice replies without hesitation, "Yes, this is the cursed statue of King Fee, letter 1 E1 ND stroke letter 1 ECD of a demon. Someone deliberately left it beside you to curse you, kill you, and steal your soul, but you survived."
Thamdar hears like thunder
In his ears. He opens his eyes in astonishment, carefully examining his body, and murmurs, "Memories are flooding in. It turns out I am not the owner of this body. This body belongs to a middle school student named Thamdar. In the last memories, dark beams tightly grabbed his head. Indeed, his soul was cursed and killed by the statue. Perhaps because of the same name or some other fate, he suddenly died from overworking. The pure soul rushed here, taking over his body." He looks at the statue in his hand, emitting red smoke. The voice echoes in his ears, "Humanity, once this curse cannot kill you, it will grant you immense power. For 10,000 years, it has drained the entire power of your soul." As soon as the words stopped, the statue appeared with cracks. In a blink of an eye, the statue shatters into dust. Then the voice orders, "Now call that door again." He asks, "Call the door." The sound from the void responds, "Yes, that door now belongs to you."
Moments later, the door reappears.
The voice continues, "That is your power to connect worlds." A notification appears, because last time you entered the door politely, you received an item for evaluating politeness. The polite person below the notification is a grey-colored item. Another explanatory box appears. The polite grey item destroys the evaluation equipment. By using this item, you will receive benefits as follows. After acting politely, others' impressions of you will slightly improve. He gently touches the item, speaking in a low voice. The evaluation item seems to be a passive skill that can be equipped. The sound suddenly becomes weak. "My power is almost depleted. Humanity must be careful in dealing with you using the cursed statue. Once they know you're still alive, they will come to kill you, perhaps immediately attacking in front of you. Today, you enter a world called the Nightmare World." At the same time, the door displays the words Nightmare World in red. The voice tries to convey its last words. "This is the prison world I am held in. Humanity, keep becoming stronger. Then go deep into the Nightmare World to free me. Until then, I will definitely repay humanity. Before that, don't die." After a moment, no sound comes out. He murmurs, the voice disappeared. He sits still, recalling memories, thinking to himself, "Did someone want to kill me the moment I transmigrated? Why? I didn't find any enemy when searching Thamdar's memories. You actually wanted to kill him." Thamdar sits on the bed reasoning, in short, equip the item first then think further. Now I have no skills to protect myself, so I have to step into the door to see if there's anyone.
He grabs the door handle and twists, but a skeleton emerges from the door.
Nevertheless, he's determined to forget it, to go in first then think. At worst, escape outside. As long as the door isn't too far, it can't hurt me. That skeleton looks very strong. Although I can't fight it, maybe I can talk to it. As he opens the door, black gas spreads outside the room. His body grows larger. Indeed, communication is the foundation of humanity. The skeleton is a dead person. Dead people can also speak. Perhaps he can negotiate to make it his assistant to help fight against the enemy's pursuit. Not knowing who he's supporting, maybe with the help of the polite person, there is hope. Trying to keep calm, Thamdar places his hands on his chest, introduces himself. Hello, my name is Thamdar. He silently thinks the polite person is activating. The skeleton remains silent, staring at him. Seeing its silence, he's secretly pleased, thinking, good, it seems to have been effective. He then speaks, sorry for bothering you earlier, I wanted to make friends with you. He takes a breath and says, just before he can finish the sentence, the skeleton swings its arms with sharp claws rushing towards him. He quickly steps back, screams, ah. His hand slams forcefully on the ground, causing a crack to appear. Thamdar steps back onto the bed, angrily says, do you need to be violent like this? I just wanted to talk to you. The enraged skeleton raises its hand, slamming the door shut with a loud noise. He quickly leans back, hitting his body against the bed hard, groaning, ouch.
He sits up, propping himself up with his hands, exclaiming, too dangerous.
If the door is broken, it will disappear immediately. The grey item is indeed trash. Maybe I can get a new item this time. A notification appears before him. Item evaluation can only be received once a day. Today's attempts have been used up. Keep trying tomorrow. Seeing this, he grins to himself, realizing that it's impossible to obtain infinite items.
Thamdar thinks if this skeleton blocks the door forever, then tomorrow I can't receive better items.
The assassin could come at any time. I don't have much time to waste. Thinking that, he reaches forward and yells loudly, door.
The door opens, faintly showing his previous life as a salesman.
Before opening the door, he thinks to himself, in my past life, I was a sales clerk. I must come to you. As the door opens, a serious voice echoes, sorry to bother you again, I'm here. However, welcoming him is not a warm attitude, but a set of sharp teeth. The skeleton is gnashing its teeth. The sound from the door is extremely grating. Thamdar opens the door again and enters, calmly saying, it's useless. He changes his strategy to a softer approach, saying, I can't eat you. I can freely move between the two worlds, we can only communicate.
The enraged skeleton throws the door, which has been partially eaten, towards him.
He doesn't dodge, but steps forward, raising his voice. Do you want to hear my proposal? Hearing this, the skeleton freezes and remains silent. Seeing it turn and leave, he urgently shouts, hey, don't go. You applied your observation skills to convincingly argue. Since earlier, I've noticed that you were injured when you were eating human flesh. Your left arm is broken, and new bones are gradually growing. Not only is your left arm injured, but your skull, ribs, and spine also have multiple areas damaged, right?
Hearing you say that, it stopped.
Seeing that you achieved your goal, you took out your phone, searched for it, and held it up with just a finger on the screen. Although you couldn't let me, our world has many things that you consume, which are beneficial for your bones.
For example, this calcium pill is specifically used to treat bone and joint diseases.
Besides, there are many more nutritious items than me. You tried your best to make your voice pleasant.
If we were friends, I could buy it for you.
After all, we have a saying here, friends can sacrifice themselves, let alone just buying a few calcium pills. Of course, I think if you sacrifice yourself, it's not a problem.
Seeing the other party still silent, you lowered your tone and asked softly.
A purple light suddenly appeared in front of you. A skeletal hand opened wide, and in the palm was a sphere emitting purple light. Thamdar stepped back. Thinking illusions wouldn't work, it seemed you had to think of another way. A piece of paper with strange characters below, along with an image of a skull, and the same text. You received a contract. Main whispered, oh, so the contract was successful. You read the text on the contract. The signatory was the Bone Mother, a dark skeleton. Revenant, the executor of the king. Demon Minju, victorious and defeated. Kaju found it hard to understand the background of this monster. Wait, why are there ellipses at the end of the name? Continue reading. Minju, victorious and defeated. Commander recruits the battlefield of the 5th team of the Bone Army. You realized it was a minor officer. You carefully read the entire content of the contract. The contract's content exchange. P.S. Remember, 7,000 years ago, humans used their talents to create culture, art, and science, making the eternal bell of destiny resound immortally.
At the time, even the gods squinted at humanity, hoping you could help restore our power.
We have never made a contract with anyone other than the divine, so you should understand the value of this contract.
At the end of the contract, it says this is a fair contract.
Once both parties are dissatisfied, the contract can be voided at any time. Please sign your name below, and this contract will be established.
You saw the signatory line and decided to agree. A purple light appeared on your finger. You slowly signed your name. Thamdar immediately displayed the words Humanity Victory. The curse of the demonic beast. You guard the gate between nightmares and reality, the only one who controls the space of both realms. You were amazed and exclaimed joyfully, realizing you possessed this level of power. The skeletal figure no longer showed any signs, indicating the contract was complete. Sam Dao was discharged from the hospital and returned home with your parents to an apartment in a high-rise building.
Your parents were concerned and advised.
Syra di Letuanier, you just got discharged.
If you're not well, you must inform us in time.
Your mother felt uneasy, took out another box and said, in the next few days, stay home and rest to recover.
Don't stress too much with other things.
This is a health supplement to boost your health when taken on an empty stomach.
Your father also took out a bag and instructed, I also bought some calcium pills you might need.
Take this.
You accepted the items they offered awkwardly and replied, thank you, Mom and Dad.
Your mother sat beside you, gently said, it's family. What gratitude.
Just being safe and healthy is more important than anything.
Your face became angry,
But you secretly felt lucky.
In your previous life, you were an orphan, and feeling cared for by family like this was wonderful.
Suddenly, the sound of knocking on the door caught everyone's attention in the house. Your father went out to open the door. 2 men in blue uniforms entered.
The large, fat man at the front raised his badge and introduced himself. Hello, we are the East City Police, handling the case related to Thamdar.
Your father replied, cases like these happen every year. There are so many similar incidents that it's hard to predict. Facing this situation, you could only accept it. The officer continued, that's right. We are also at a loss.
Luckily, you've recovered, which is fortunate in this unlucky situation.
You remained silent and thought to yourself, Thamdar initially.
You imagined the door and the eerie monsters inside that had drained the life force of the other boy, falling into contemplation that you had been killed by a summoned monster through a curse long ago.
Your eyes became sad as you whispered, perhaps next time if someone faces a similar situation, they can only accept their fate. The large, fat officer was unsure how to respond to your statement. Another officer standing behind, with a hand made of metal, broke the silence and said, I understand you're not in a good mood, but I have something to tell you.
He looked at you and announced the higher-ups have approved it.
Soon, the hospital will be abandoned and no one will be allowed in anymore.
Rest assured, no more victims will appear.
You looked closely
And noticed that his chest didn't match the others.
You thought to yourself, the police badge has 3 stars.
I didn't expect a young lieutenant like him. Despite his words, there was still fear in his mouth.
Thank you for telling me this.
I'm just worried someone might want to confront me.
He didn't believe it.
And interrupted.
You're just a middle school student with extremely simple social relations.
We haven't discovered any enemies like that for you. After speaking, he turned and left.
Before leaving, he added, that's all for now. We have duties to attend to.
We won't bother you anymore, sir.
You opened the door to see them go.
Meanwhile, you worriedly thought that the rank of the curse of the demonic beast was very high. Not only could the police not handle it, but even the government was helpless. It was clear that even the police were afraid and wouldn't dare to approach.
You sat still, thinking that Thamdar was just an ordinary middle school student.
After all, who would want to use such a powerful tool against you?
Suddenly, there was a noise outside the door.
Not knowing if the door was locked, the officer from earlier returned, looking around.
You asked, officer, didn't you leave?
Why did you come back?
He took out a business card, handed it to you, and said, here, this is my business card.
Thamdar was still stunned and replied, yes, thank you.
The other person turned around, pulled down his hat, and left, reminding you if anything unusual happens, call me.
Hearing the clattering sound outside the door signified that he had left.
You examined the business card and saw it was written as Officer Lakfai Zion.
Your thoughts became chaotic.
It seemed not all police officers were incompetent. However, you still couldn't be sure if you could trust him or if he could help you. It seemed he wasn't following his superior's orders. What could a single officer like him do when neither the police station nor the government could get involved?
Your face became more serious as you thought, after all, everyone knows I'm still alive.
The murderer surely won't leave me alone.
Thinking about your parents, both familiar and distant, you worried that if something went wrong, it might affect your family. With this in mind, you stood up, raised your arms, and silently decided to make yourself stronger. Thamdar shouted loudly, and the old door appeared before you.
You opened the door, greeted with the professional smile of the skeletal staff. Looking into the darkness ahead, you shouted loudly, skeleton. Were you here? The skeleton lowered its head from above. Seeing you, it reached into its pocket and laughed. I brought the calcium pill for you.
After receiving the item, it pointed to your bag. Not hearing its voice, you reached into your bag, took out the medicine your mother gave you, and asked, what's this for?
The skeleton wanted the supplement the same. Immediately, a piece of paper appeared in its hand, followed by a spiral emitting blue light. It clearly stated, the opponent desires a more effective health supplement. In your hand, from the blue light emerges a sparkling green crystal. The roll paper displayed additional notes, basic nightmare crystal, item crafted by high-level spirits from the skeleton's former enemies. It can transfer a type of knowledge, skill, or intelligence to the user. In the eternal theme of war nightmares, all knowledge of civilization revolves around quickly enhancing combat strength. As a battlefield collector, it selects the relics of enemy soldiers from some of the spoils obtained from war to exchange for your supplement. Knowing you're curious, the roll paper added the note, Nightmare Crystal Level 1, an item crafted by high-level spirits from the skeleton's former enemies. It can transfer a type of knowledge, skill, or intelligence to the user. In the eternal theme of war nightmares, all knowledge of civilization revolves around quickly enhancing combat strength. Thamdar reached out to grab the water artifact, excitedly saying that the glass could grant knowledge and skills. It sounded very interesting, but as his hand touched it, a cracking sound echoed. The glass artifact in his hand shattered into many pieces, scattering wildly in the air.
From the light of the glass, he saw shadows with various actions occurring, entering his body.
Alongside were notices indicating he had learned the N, GUI, letter 1EC7TH, letter 1E1L, letter 1ED9C ham technique, the main body method of the spirit clans, soldiers from the undead spirit tribe. The skeletons had been at war all year with the spirit clan to resist the undead spirits. The spirit clan created this body method, which helps users evade sudden attacks and blend in.
Thamdar felt himself brimming with energy, thinking to himself, I never expected that by using a great medicinal pill, I could exchange for the spirit clan's body method.
Now I have the basic ability to protect myself.
While he was excited, the skeleton was also absorbing the medicinal pills he had brought.
The medicine boxes hovered in the skeleton's clawed hands. It did not use them on the spot, but slowly moved backward, blending into the endless darkness.
He stood there torn between crying and laughing.
Hiding in the dark now. We've already made a pact, yet you still act mysteriously.
What though?
Outside the door, the sound of knocking suddenly echoed. Knock, knock. He closed the mysterious door again, thinking to himself, never mind, I should still study the NGUI, letter 1EC7TH, letter 1E1L, letter 1ED9C ham body method first before taking anything else. It seems like my parents have already gone back to their bedrooms. He returned to his room, and a notification appeared. First stage of the NGUI, letter 1EC7TH, letter 1E1L, letter 1ED9C ham body methods evasion.
Required agility 3 points.
Currently assessing your body's innate qualities. Your agility is 2, lacking 1 point to use evasion.
Thamdar thought, so curious this feels like a game.
What should I do to improve my agility?
Suddenly, a cold sound echoed. Didn't expect you to still be alive. His expression became serious.
He glanced out the window and saw a masked man standing there.
With the long scar on his head, the man disdainfully said, let me see. After all, what kind of guts do you have? He finished mockingly. The masked man, wielding a weapon, rushed towards him. Thamdar quickly leaned to dodge the attack. Even though his attack missed, the man remained steady and landed firmly, snarling, good body method, kid. He quickly stabilized himself, thinking to himself, oh, too dangerous. The assassin is approaching so fast. Why?
He remembered someone from before and muttered politely, activating a smile.
Hello, sir.
May I ask if you need something? However, the man did not change his demeanor and swung his sword loudly. You're just a crafty cat scratcher.
With your speed and agility, you can't even dodge a bullet. At this moment, a notification appeared. The glass has granted you knowledge, skills, and equipment from the nightmare world. Each has its own rank from low to high: destruction grey, common white, superior green, Vietnamese blue, eternal middle, and infinite purple. The higher the rank, the stronger the effect. The rank of the polite person you have is destruction grey. So, this is a low rank.
Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Damn it, I still can't use NGUI. Letter 1EC7TH, letter 1E1L, letter 1ED9C han. The masked man saw Thamdar's agile body method and snarled coldly, evade for a long night.
He drew his weapon, pointing it at him. It's just some cat scratches. With your speed and agility, you can't dodge a bullet. He was sweating profusely, seeing the man taking such risks, worried.
Too late. At this moment, another notification appeared, gently reminding him that the higher the rank of the trait, the more attribute points received. Thamdar was both happy and angry, thinking, so anyone can notch points.
They should have told me earlier.
He silently ordered, swallow the polite person.
In an instant, the notification indicated the swallowing was successful. He quickly said, increase my agility now.
The notification reminded, agility increased from 2 to 3.
NGUI, letter 1EC7TH, letter 1E1L, letter 1ED9C han first technique, evasion, has been used.
At that moment, a blue light enveloped Thamdar.
The masked man swung his gun towards him and pulled
the trigger. Thamdar, now agile, lowered his body and successfully dodged an idea appearing in his mind about the door.
As the door appeared, he quickly rushed towards the masked man, hurriedly running in after him, shouting, don't even think about running.
Looking ahead, he saw no one in the forest. The man hesitated. This is a secret path.
Thamdar was already waiting by the door.
Goodbye, assassin.
The man hurriedly turned around, yelling, I've caught you.
Die. But waiting for him was a tightly closed door. The skeleton opened its mouth wide, ready with sharp teeth, waiting for the prey to rush in. The assassin lost momentum and fell into hot blood, splattering everywhere. In the darkness, the crisp sound of crunching like eating snacks echoed, teeth clattering loudly. The skeleton's already broken arm was also disintegrating.
Thamdar barely escaped death, leaning against the wall and panting heavily.
He wiped the sweat from his face, his voice low and unpleasant, too dangerous. There will be more assassins knocking on my door soon. I can't just survive for a second. I must quickly find some skills to protect myself. Suddenly, an ancient scroll with light appeared before him, accompanied by a notification.
His living items pleased the opponent immensely.
According to the principle of equal exchange, the opponent took an item in return. Simultaneously, a pact was recognized, a silver crown and a silver medal floated in the air. Next to them was a note.
The crown was named B1CH and A3NH crown, and the medal was Bang B1C war medal.
He was amazed what?
In just a moment, it gave me 2 items, and they are green tier items.
The opponent thoughtfully explained the items. B1CH and A3NH crown is a superior green tier equipment with high-level illusion spells from the Dark Abyss. Whoever wears it can disguise themselves as the spirit clan's life form or undead spirit. The next is the Bang B1C war medal made of silver, symbolizing the glorious war achievements of the spirit clan.
Only soldiers who have made contributions can wear this medal.
It can transmit to the spirit clan's influence range.
He was delighted, laughing, haha, this skeleton initially wanted to eat me, but now seeing the trade value he's been giving me good items continuously. Thamdar tried on the crown, thinking, I'll wear a B1CH and A3NH crown to test it out. In an instant, his hair turned yellow, his ears grew longer, and his attire changed.